What is your official title? I mean, what does it say? Have you got a business card? What does it say? It says Ned Bell, then what? On the bottom.
My card is it's on my WhatsApp account.
All right.
My
Ned
business
Bell.
card currently chef raconteur.
Okay, but I did see that you've signed on to be the spokesperson for Eat BC again.
No, no, no. So I'm
By BC.
chef ambassador for the province of BC through the Buy BC program.
IBC program. There you go. That's what I was trying to say. Is there another one? Is there another one coming?
Well, so the Buy BC program is a fairly large initiative that kind of has dozens of events that it hosts all year. The one that you were thinking of was the Every Chef Needs a
Chef.
Farm. So that fell under Minister Lana Popham. Now she got moved to tourism, so now she's really focused on tourism and sport and what she would like to think is culinary tourism. And the new minister, Pam Alexis, the new minister of agriculture, is trying to carve out her own path. And so I work for her now,
Okay.
indirectly, of course, on all kinds of different food events. The one that's most exciting that's coming up soon is the BC Seafood Festival.
Gee, nice segue. Very good, because that's why I was calling. uh, now, this is the 14th or 15th annual, and I've attended up in Courtney Comox. I love those. I love those outdoors, and it was just fantastic. But this is on top of Mount Washington, outside or inside or both?
Yeah, this is the 15th anniversary of the BC Seafood and Shellfish Festival, which of course had humble beginnings. The humble oyster, 15 years ago was the BC Shellfish Festival, really focused on oysters specifically, and then of course broadened over the years to include all seafood. You're right. The festival for years and years and years was, of course, at Philburg Park and all, Courtney Comox, right on the ocean. I mean, it was extraordinary. But more often than not, the weather was inclement and really, threw us for a loop and made it quite
So then you said, let's go to the top of a mountain.
well. So Mount Washington, as you know, is an incredible venue. I grew up skiing there, having been raised at least in Victoria, born in the Okanagan. But what we decided with Mount Washington was it was a recognizable venue. It has incredible accommodations.
Yep.
It's kind of unbelievable when you're up there in the summertime to think of having an oyster at the top of the mountain and really celebrating the best of the ocean that's right below us. It's certainly, I don't want to say a risk, but it's certainly going to be a journey for us to get everybody to commit to coming up to the mountain from Courtney Comox. We're excited about it. I just did the site venue the site tour, and gosh, it's a beautiful place. It's going to be amazing at the end of June, and I just can't wait.
So you have to answer the question: are you doing your seminars inside or outside? Are you doing cooking inside and outside?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't answer the question directly. Both. We're going to have a fantastic sort of host tent right outside the main venue. There'll be things inside and outside, mostly outside, we hope, if the weather is great. But the great thing about having this venue is that we have a weather plan if weather is a bit sideways. And of course, when we were down on the ocean, we didn't have a weather plan. It was, if it was freezing cold and raining out, we had to deal with it.
There was a wind, you know that.
Yeah.
Your chef demos outside, like you have done in the past, where you've got a full range of chefs cooking at the same time?
Yeah, so we're going to do them all, not simultaneously. We're going to do them back to back, the master classes, as we're calling them, and they're going to be under the main tent. There'll be a number of them going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, alongside all the other signature events that are happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we're excited about the guest chefs we've invited, and yeah, it's going to be a really fun weekend.
We'll run down those chefs in just a second. He's Ned Bell, by the way. Yes, he's in charge of everything. The Oceanwise Chowder Competition.
Yeah, Oceanwise Chowder Chowdown, of course, as listeners may remember, the chowder competition that Oceanwise hosted at the Vancouver Aquarium and in Calgary and in Toronto. And this is going to be a satellite version of that. So we're going to have a bunch of chefs throwing down their best chowders.
Listen, you always invite your friends along with you. Why not? Well, if you can control who you can hang with in the kitchen, you might as well invite the best people you can. So you have a bunch of locals. I like that. I like the fact that there's a North Island conglomerate of chefs that are coming en masse.
Yeah, we have some really great chefs. I mean, as you can appreciate, a lot of chefs these days are really focused on their own kitchens coming out of COVID and still trying to rebuild their businesses after a really challenging number of years. So we wanted to focus on the Mid Island, the North Island, and the South Island, to be quite honest. So we're bringing up some fantastic chefs from all of those areas, and also bringing over some chefs friends of mine from Vancouver as well. And honestly, I'm thrilled for the guest chefs that we've invited. We have Chef Garrett Kemp coming from Pier 7 restaurant, which is over in North Vancouver. We have Leslie Stav coming to represent the North Island Chefs Association. We have Chris Hammer coming to represent the Island Chefs Collective, which is based out of Victoria.
Go, Richard, keep going.
Richard Benson, who's coming from Kingfisher. We have a number of chefs from Les Dames d'Escoffier, a number of chefs from Chef's Table Society. I mean, the list is long.
Aaron Rail.
Aaron Rail, one of my favorite guys. He's been a part of the festival.
Ramen, yeah.
Yeah, he is a legend. He's from Courtney Comox. He's been a part of the festival for years and years. He's just a real journeyman, a fantastic guy, and he's coming up once again to really celebrate the seafood industry.
Tommy Shorthouse, Shucker Patty.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tommy has had to bow out because of knee surgery. But Shucker Patty, the godfather of oysters, he's coming from Toronto. Can't wait to have Shucker Patty come out and bring his signature style and flair for all things Mother Oyster.
Okay, that's very cool. And are you going to talk Ocean Wise at the same time and just raise that?
Oh yeah, we're going to have Ocean Wise there. Chef Will Liu, who's coming over. He was the executive chef of Ocean Wise for a short while after I left. We're both going to be championing all things Ocean Wise sustainable seafood. We're going to have a masterclass with him. And of course, I'm the chef ambassador for the province of BC through the By BC program. So we're going to talk about all things By BC. And I mean, most importantly, it's going to be delicious. There's going to be, steelhead, wild salmon, gooey duck, oysters, clams, mussels, Arctic char, albacore tuna, Dungeness crab. The list is long. It's going to be all the things that swim in our ocean or are grown on land or cultivated in the ocean. So, if you have nothing to do June 23rd to 25th and you want to come up to a fantastic venue and eat some unbelievable seafood, some of the best seafood in the world, you got to join us at Mount Washington for the BC Seafood Festival.
What's the website there?
Well, the bcseafoodfestival.com is the website to go for tickets, of course. And if you follow BC Seafood Festival on Instagram or at Ned Bell on Instagram, you can follow some links to buy tickets there. And the gala dinner on Saturday night. We have the bounty brunch on Sunday. We have Clam It Up on Friday. We have all kinds of different chef demos all weekend. It's family friendly, of course. We're going to have demos.
Bands. You got bands playing too.
Yeah, we have some great bands. I don't actually remember the names of all the bands.
Dick Whistles or something.
We have fantastic music. I mean, I just came back last year from the PEI Shellfish Festival, and they really throw a good party on the East Coast, of course. Yeah. And so I said, we've got to have a good party too. We've always had great bands at the BC Seafood Festival, but it's going to be fun. It's, Vancouver Island Brewing, Cascadia Liquor, some great wineries. We've got Barche Brothers sponsoring my brunch. It's
nice.
It's going to be fantastic.
By the way, last night I had a Barche Grenache Syrah that stopped time.
Yeah, well, you know they are, and of course they just put out a Piquette in can, and so we're going to promote their Piquette in can, and they're going to give us some wine for our brunch on the Sunday, and it's jam packed Friday through Sunday, so it's going to be a ton of deliciousness.
Does this mean you're not going to be at the Spot Prawn Festival in Granville Island, which you've always done?
Well, interestingly enough, I'm up in Naramata speaking to you right now. We have our last guest chef event our season of culinary that we've hosted for the last 3 weeks up at the Naramata Inn. And I have Chef Gus from Published Restaurant in Vancouver coming to
Nice.
collaborate with us. And so that's on the Monday. So we're both going to miss this Spa Prawn Festival because we'll be prepping in the kitchen for Monday
Yeah,
night.
me too. By the way, congratulations on Eliza, your wine bar, getting into the top 100 wine bars in Canada. No, top 100 bars in Canada, and I think the first wine bar.
Yeah, we're thrilled. We came 39th, and just really appreciative of the teams that are doing a great job. Emily Walker, of course, absolute legend. She's such an incredible sommelier and wine director, and we have a number of really strong wine sommeliers that work with us at the inn. We're very fortunate, but Emily is the queen for sure.
I got a chance to reconnect with her at the Lieutenant Governor Awards because we were both judging.
Yeah, she mentioned that, and of course, you and her just are so involved in all things Canadian wine, and it's pretty neat to see Canadian wines on the international stage, and of course, wine bars be recognized like that. We're really thrilled for Eliza.
Speaking of wine, don't forget Q&A. Q&A.
Yeah, I've heard of this. I've heard of this wine. Is it doing all right?
It's doing all right. It's doing all right. 200 cases going to the Chateau Frontenac in Quebec City. We got to go do a winemaker's dinner.
Wow, 200 cases.
200 freaking cases.
Unbelievable.
All right.
Congratulations on that.
What are you going to do with the rest of your life?
Kate and myself and our two boys, we're moving back to Vancouver sometime later this summer. We're looking forward to it. We're going to, of course, miss living in Naramata, but we're still going to stay involved in our project Naramata Inn up here. Not 100% sure. We're excited about a few opportunities that are bubbling along. Neither of us are looking for full-time jobs because the last 3 years almost killed us. Of course, it almost killed many of us, not literally and figuratively. We're excited for what's next. We're excited to get back to the big city and a little bit of buzz. We love the Okanagan, but we look forward to seeing family and friends and seeing what happens.
Okay, give them the dates again.
June 23rd to 25th, Mount Washington, BC Seafood Festival. Come and join us. It's going to be a shocking good time.
Thank you, Ned.
Thanks, TDM.
I'm Terry David Mulligan. This is Tasting Room Radio. Look at my hair. Oh my God.
You look great.
This is when we did phoners, Lisa, you didn't have to worry about, you could wear pajamas or nothing.
I kind of am wearing pajamas. you might can tell. It's
Nice. It is your day off, right? It's your day off.
Day off, yeah.
Are you in your own kitchen or?
I am.
Yeah, thank you.
I am.
How was your morning? Tell me about your morning. What did you do?
Okay, well, my morning this morning started with a small little paddle board, but the wind picked up on me because, I'm so fortunate to be here in Tofino, right on the water. And as a matter of fact, right now the tide's so high that the water's almost to my deck. So that's a real privilege, but the wind kicked up. So I wanted a 2-hour paddle this morning just to start my day, and it was more like a 20-minute paddle. Nevertheless, super grateful. Then I had a cup of coffee while I sat staring at the beautiful water and had a nice long conversation with my great friend Nicole Gomez, Chef Nicole Gomez. So talking about the Top Chef World competition that she was in, which ended last night. So I watched the finale last night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's a go-getter, that one.
You know how we all stumbled into reels on our internet machines, and it'll be someone on a paddleboard and a gigantic whale comes and rubs up against them. Have you had any moments like that out there?
I have. One time I paddled with a gray whale. It left pretty quickly. Couldn't keep up with it, but I really didn't know it was there. And all of a sudden, the blow came up really close to me. That was super exciting. And of course, they're massive. So, they're not out to harm you, but in fact, they can make a little bit of turbulence in the water and pop you off accidentally with a fluke or what have you. But that was pretty cool. And that was in the open ocean. But right out front, I'm in the Browning Passage. And what I see on a really frequent basis is pods of orcas go through, and they're transient orcas, so they're hunting for seals. And I have had the good fortune to be out there on the water numerous times when orca have come by.
Yeah. And
Never chasing them.
if you're aware, you hear them first before you see them.
You
Yeah.
hear them first, and if you're in Tofino, more than not, you might notice a whale watching boat coming up, and then you go, oh, what are they looking for? And if you're out on the water and if the whale watching boat stops, you know that you better start looking around, because the orca are going to be coming up on you or in front of you or whatever. But I've never had any fear around being close to the orca when I'm paddling, except one time. And that actually, the picture did actually go on the Instagram because one of my neighbors was out on her board and she had already encountered the orca. And I was sitting with my son having tea, my son Barkley. And I said, oh, I think there's whales out there. Let me go. I just wanted a closer look, but I wasn't trying to go paddle with them. But again, like in 2 seconds, I can be on my board and I go to like one of the anchors out there that we have in front of the house just for tying one of our little dinghies up at.
Yeah.
And then I tie off and I watch them go down the channel, which is, pretty safe for them and me. But this particular day, what I didn't know was that there was a tiny little baby one that had just been born a few days prior. And so honestly, I wasn't 100 yards from my front porch, and I was in my bathrobe. And it was January 2nd, I think. It was a little cold out, but I love the orca and I try to snap a few photos from a safe distance if I can. And I'm presuming it was the mother that broke away from the pod. It was a small pod, 4 or 5 orca. And she came zooming at me so fast that all of a sudden I was like treading on water. I thought I was in biblical times. So I'm like, oh, I'm not afraid of the orca. And I know they don't attack humans in the wild here in BC. We haven't seen that. But then I thought, mothers protect their children, don't they? So you better hightail it there to the shore, young lady, so that you can protect yourself and that orca, the mom. You don't want them in any kind of anxiety. But you know what? She zoomed right up to me and she went right next to me, had a look at me, and off back to her baby she went, because of course I couldn't out paddle her. That was silly. But my friend was laughing her tail off, who was a couple of houses down on her board, and she photographed the whole thing. And she goes, it was like watching one of those cartoons, Lisa, with Roadrunner, and then the legs are zipping. She said, you were paddling so fast. And I said, yeah, I was aware then, really aware.
I mean, well, when you step out on the ocean, you become part of the food chain.
Yes, you do.
Whether you want to think about it or not.
Yeah.
You mentioned in passing, Lisa, about Tofino.
Mm-hmm.
It's going through its troubles right now as we speak. The Highway 4 is closed because of fires and landslides and mountains moving. And so there's a logging road that's being used, and it is carnage out there.
It is.
The big trucks that are there to supply Tofino included.
It is.
Hotels and the restaurants and every people,
and
medicine, and people who are going to Tofino to surf or something or whatever. It's dangerous right now.
I think so. I think we should all stay off the roads right now, hunker down at home, like we did when we went through the COVID, and let the essential workers get their jobs done. Let the gas get out if we need, petrol, the food supply, whatever it is, the essential workers, the ambulances to get by, whatever needs to happen. We should just prioritize that and put our personal appointments, off for a little bit.
How are you doing for supplies?
I'm really lucky because I buy so local. I mean, I'm going down to the dock every day for spot prawns. My halibut fisherman calls me 4 or 5 times a week. I have a Long Beach farm supplies me with the most beautiful greens. And then we've got Bobby from Tofino Culinary Guild, who supplies us all with farm fresh vegetables. And because they have a smaller refrigerated truck, that they have been just 1 day a week bringing supplies from the east side of the island into the households and restaurants here, because there is definitely a weight restriction on that. on that old logging road, which is, by the way, dangerous.
Well,
Because
there's
as
no
we were,
edge. There's no edge.
there's no edge.
There's the
No.
road and the bush.
And a lot of dust.
Yeah.
And the ground is really parched. I hike 4 or 5 times a week with my dogs up a place called Mallard. And I made a video a couple of days ago that in my 22 years here, I've never seen it dry on Mallard. There's always a couple of mud puddles up there somewhere. And it was so dry. I made a video. It was like being in West Texas. And as I was walking through the bush, the branches, the twigs were literally snapping, snapping in half. And it was quite scary because, May, we're supposed to get 100, milliliters of rain. And we had 5, I think, maybe 10. And so that last May rain kind of helps us sneak through summer with a little bit of rain. And we just haven't had it.
People might forget that Tofino is right at the edge of Canada. You run out of land in Tofino, and
That's right.
And there's not many directions you can go. You can get out on the ocean, but that requires.
That's right. So everybody needs to be really careful with their fires, with their cigarettes. If they do that habit, they need to, remember where they're at. And we do live in the rainforest, but it's not raining now.
I hold in my hand.
Oh,
one of the reasons why we're bothering Lisa Ahier on her day off. And that is because of her first cookbook, the Sobo cookbook, which we loved, realizing that years later there would be a second book right there. And if you, just in time for Christmas, this is Welcome Back to Tofino. Chef Lisa and her cherished Sobo restaurant are the heart of Tofino. Her warm hospitality, positive energy, and humor welcome you like an old friend. Marilyn Dennis, host of the Marilyn Dennis Show, together at Sobo. It's wonderful. It's wonderful reading. It is, by the way, it's not just a page flipper. This one requires you to jump in because you recognize and celebrate the people around you, the people who helped you become Sobo.
Yes, I did. It's important to honor those that help you along the way because I say it time and time again. It's very difficult to reach your goals in life and have a full life without surrounding yourself with great support and love. And that's what, that book honors. The first book honored my harvesters, producers, fisher people, and this one honors those every day in my life, helping me make Sobo what it has become over the last 20 years, which, as my daughter said, it's a community gathering at Sobo.
Who's Cozy Lawson?
Cozy Lawson is one of my dearest friends, and she is a warrior for wild salmon, and I adore her. We're going on a blues cruise together to see Joe Bonamassa.
Wow.
Yeah, we are in October. I'm stoked about that. But she's a dear friend and she walks the walk, talks the talk and walks the walk. Yep. She was born on the beach here in Tofino. Her mother is an amazing artist and another warrior for the environment and wild salmon.
I'm sure that you were asked or thought about or had planned a second cookbook, but you wanted to do it differently. You can see that there was some real serious engagement with yourself about what you wanted to say and who you wanted to write about, and then the recipes, and not shortchange the recipes along the way. It is a great read.
Thank you.
That I continually pick up.
Thank you.
And then I bookmark.
Well, thank you. Towards the end of the book, I was able to meet this wonderful, talented woman by the name of Susan Musgrave. She's a poet. She's a brilliant writer. We are actually writing the third book, a little more than entertaining. But she came to help me tie it up in the pretty bow, editing, if you will, and throwing some voice in there and helping me complete the project. But I owe her a pile, and I don't get to talk enough about her in the book. But the next one we'll talk a lot about friendship and stories and people.
Who's Sandy Barber?
My mom will be here next week. Well, we hope she'll be here if we can. Yeah, we'll have to fly her in.
Well, that's just it. I mean, even those guys are swamped. You know that.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes.
We see
So
these guys a couple of times.
we've got the little girl graduating. So that is Suzanne Lawson, Cozy's mother, right there, sitting next to actually Susan Musgrave's best friend. It's just a circle, right? 6 degrees of separation in this life, I tell you. And that's Chris, the other half of Sea Winch Naturals that, down to our hand soap, we have to honor the people that are, that we're doing business with.
It's such a magical life. And I'm not, first of all, and I don't glamorize it because I know how hard you work and the people around you, how hard you, and how long it took to establish yourself from that truck to this first book to this second book. That's an eternity in terms of kitchen time. And what's next? Do we know?
Well, I'm going to be retiring our brick and mortar location at 311 Neal Street. That's been home for the last 16 years of Sobo, and we are celebrating our 20th year right now. But the fact of the matter is, I have some other things I really want to do. Yes, I want to write this third book and maybe more after that, because I've found joy in sharing recipes and stories. It appears that people want them, so I can do that. But I really want to reach more people with the Sobo product. So I've ventured out into the world of retail food, I guess we call it, grocery, if you will. I'm trying to get into talks with thrifties, and I've been talking with Whole Foods, and we have this wonderful product called wild salmon chowder that seems to fly off the shelves here in Tofino and is now being sold at Mitch's Catch, Fisherman's Wharf, there in the locker, along with our Southern cornbread. And I have about 15 items that I've already developed that are selling very successfully at our location in Tofino. But I'm trying to get the Sobo love to more people across Canada and hopefully into the United States. And as I'm in my mid-ish 60s right now, I think it's time. I go to work every day. Yesterday, strangely enough, I put a new dryer duct in and worked on my ice machine, and I cooked the lunch service. So I enjoy going to work every day, but there just doesn't seem to be enough of me. And I'm going to have to figure the future out in ways that don't require me to show up into the battlefield each and every day.
So you're stepping into an area that's really tricky.
Super tricky.
But you're leaving a comfort zone of that kitchen, yours, the one you're in, and Sobo. So it's a
scary.
transition.
Scary. It's scary. But, change in life is part of life. And if you have things you've always wanted to do, I say, you're not getting younger. Just keep taking a chance. And it doesn't mean that there won't be another little something, to hang my Sobo plaque on here in Tofino. But right now I'm going to really push hard on learning this other side of business, which is the grocery business. And I'm talking to everybody that I can. And I've met a lot of really wonderful, generous people that have given me advice, like John Rose and Boyd Stevens. He was a food broker, and Linda from Snowcap. They're all trying to work with me to get this project off the ground, because we all believe in it. We're all old timers, and everybody kind of knows each other from their past. And for me, there's something to that to take note of.
Listen, old timers, small timers. Vinyl has come back. Vinyl is back in our lives. Live.
Right. Yes. I love that. My kids are both collecting vinyl. I love it. It's so great.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers live. Come on.
Awesome. I just introduced my kids to Traffic. Low Spark of the High Hill Boys, I think it's the.
That's it. Low Spark of the High Hill. 14.
They're like, wow, that's great music.
14 minutes and 10 seconds long. I know that.
That's right.
I know that one well. And interestingly, the guys from Traffic, Brits, Steve Winwood and those guys, they ended up at Muscle Shoals studio in Alabama to record a couple of albums.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find that information on the back of the albums, but it's there. And their sound changed as soon as they got into the States and started to hang with those guys. It was really that's a whole nother side. Okay, so here's the deal. Wild salmon chowder.
Yes.
What's the brand name? What are you calling it?
Sobo.
Sobo. No.
Sobo, wild salmon chowder.
Cornbread?
Sobo cornbread.
I will get an amazing amount of feedback if I don't talk to you about food.
Okay.
Lisa,
Yes.
it's prawn salmon season now. We're
Yes,
going
it is.
into
Yes,
it.
it is. Yes.
What are the damning things that people do to fish that we have to correct and give the fish on your plate its proper due?
Well, a lot of times people mishandle the fish by keeping it too long. You know, fish should be eaten fresh or properly frozen, which means, you know, wrapping it properly, maybe vacuum packing it. Or what I do with my prawns, because it's such a short season, is I put them in water and literally make them into an ice cube, and then I have them when it's not prawn season. But overcooking seafood tends to be something, especially a prawn or shrimp, you know, literally 30 seconds on each side, and it's absolutely perfect. I'm not saying serve it raw. I'm saying just don't overcook it to where it's tough.
How about to being aware of Ocean Wise?
And to be aware of Ocean Wise or whatever organization. There's many, you know, the Monterey Aquarium. There's Sea Choice, Sea Watch. There's a number of them. What you should know is what is in your area. So even if you're in Ontario, maybe you have the pickerel, the fresh fish. Support your local fishermen and harvesters, and keep pushing forward like the warrior Cozy Lawson does, to keep our environment clean so that we do have fish. Hey, probably a bear going by or something like that. Tofino, my dogs. You know, yeah, keep that ocean clean for generations to come. Hey, girls, please, for generations to come, so that our kids and their kids can enjoy fresh fish, or, you know, or frozen fish. But buy local, buy from your own country if you can. There's some terrible fishing practices around the world.
Know where your fish is coming from.
That's right. And that's kind of a new thing too, that's so fun for the fishermen, is they can put their face on their fish, if you will, because you can track a lot of the fish these days from their tags that's on the tail. And you can actually go online and find out, if if you're not fortunate enough to walk down the docks like so many of us here in BC are, you can go online and meet your fishermen that way. And then you really do feel that connection of support, because they're risking their lives for us, you know, when they go out and harvest seafood.
Yeah. By the way, say hello to Ella, will you please?
What's that?
Say hello to Ella.
I will. I don't know what's happening there. Apparently I don't know how to turn noise off on these things.
It's okay. It's okay. How do people get a hold of the book?
Well, what I always say is support your small local bookstore first. Someone that you should have, if you love books, have a relationship with your small bookstore. And, you know, the larger bookstores are carrying the book, the Chapters, Indigo, Barnes and Nobles in the States, and or go online to the Random House links, and you can find I visited so many great, you can find a good little bookstore that you might not even know about in your hood or your city. But since I've been on this book tour, this book launch, it has absolutely been amazing, all these little stores and the owners that I've come in contact with. Monroe's is not little down in Victoria, but it's Boland's and Monroe's, and these places with real personality and people that are super stoked to take care of you when you walk in the door.
Maybe
you can spend a day in a bookstore.
If the wild salmon chowder goes sideways for any reason, who knows?
Yeah.
Why not just be a writer?
Well, you know, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. There is something that I'm doing too, which I'm very new at. Obviously, I'm very challenged technically or technology wise, or I could have got rid of that phone call or whatever that was coming in on my computer. But I've dipped my toe in the waters of YouTube, and I've just launched my YouTube channel this week. However, I can't figure out how to verify myself, so my videos have been taken down, but I see a few have gone up. And what I'm doing is I'm doing cooking classes in my kitchen here at the cabin, right where I'm at right now. And I'm cooking recipes from the original Sobo cookbook and the new Together at Sobo cookbook. And that's fun for people because I think it's going to be fun for people anyway. I'm being hopeful. And I'm trying to answer all those questions that might come up while you are cooking from the book. Because after all, I think, well, for me, writing a cookbook was the first and foremost reason was to share recipes with people and get them cooking at home and having the recipes work for them and having them feel really excited. And sometimes they take pictures of their food. And for me, that is just one of the coolest things about what has happened with being a chef, is being able to share those things. So cooking companion classes on YouTube now under my name, Lisa Ahier. And we'll see if I can't get myself verified so I can
You need to
load up a bunch more.
No, you need a stage name. You need something sparkier.
Like my sophisticated bohemian tag.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody said that the other day. Yes, you need a stage name. I'm like, they go like the authentic chef or something. And I'm like, I don't know. Well, somebody throw it out there at me. We should have a contest. What would work? I don't know.
We'll come up with something. There you have it.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to go look for your YouTube. If you need any tech help, I have the person to
Meg.
help you with that. Okay.
Is that Meg?
No. It's the wonderful Corey Wood in Saanich, and he can do it.
Okay.
He can help you.
Okay. Now you tell Meg I said hi too.
Yeah, I will. Here's the thing about this book and both books. You're not going to do this overnight, friends. It's going to take a lifetime to go through the book and then go back. Or maybe you'll never get to the end of the book. Just start in the middle. You'll find yourself flipping these pages and finding what you're looking for, what your heart tells you, what your mind tells you. And that's the gift of this book. That's what it is. It's part of your life.
Well, thank you. I appreciate those are big words coming from you.
Yeah. Did I get your website? What's your website?
The website right now is Sobo Restaurant.
Yep.
But I'm not sure. I'm working on a few new things there with a web person, and I'm trying to make the name, my name, Lisa Ahier, a little more synonymous with the books.
If you stick with that name. Yeah. And your YouTube channel again is
Lisa Ahier. So it's capital Lisa and then capital Ahier. Tricky last name.
Got to go. It's got to change. We got
to change it. Somebody who did one of my James Langford Smith, who makes the pamplemousse wine that I'm dying for you to try.
I love that.
He's our dining room manager, and he said the other day, Lisa, yeah, you have to get a tag name kind of thing. And I said, well, it's always been Sophisticated Bohemian. He goes, yeah, but that stands for Sobo, something that stands for you, like Chef Lisa, like Cher. I'm like, oh yeah, right, James. Here I am in little old Tofino, and I'm just going to call myself Chef Lisa. Bet there's about 1,000 Chef Lisas out there.
No, I got it. It's your Texas roots. It's Lisa. What is it? Yeehaw.
That's Yeehaw. It. Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-yo.
You know how that is.
You have to get back to those Texas roots, because people in Texas love that. They love anything that says Texas on it or has a blue bonnet. So I told Random House, we're kind of missing the boat there if we don't say Texas. In some way, shape, or form there.
Work that Texas.
We got to work that Texas.
I hope to see you very soon.
I think you will be seeing me pretty soon, maybe sometime in the end of July.
Thank you. It's a long story. Thanks for doing this. Thank you for the books. Thank you for the friendship.
For your support.
I'll be checking in. Okay.
Okay.